And here we got Jeremy Reeves, the master alchemist of Cornell and Deal. How's it going, Jeremy?
Very, very good. How are you, Dan?
Pretty good. Thank you very much for doing this, man. I thanked you behind the camera, and now I want to thank you in front of the camera. And you're a sweet guy, man. I mean, regardless of your Hell's Angels look, don't worry about it. But we were just discussing C&D. You said it's your 30th anniversary coming up right now.
Yeah, this year is our 30th
Welcome
year.
to the Faulkner Circus.
Founded in 1992.
This is my first episode. I'm launching a new YouTube channel, and I figured, I have another one called No Enemies Here.
Greg passed away in 2012.
Board games, board games.
In 2013,
that feature war.
The surviving Tarler family,
like this, you know what I'm saying?
Approached Sykes Wilford, the president of.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Dan Pancaldi. Right? You can call me Duke or Duce.
Said,
I prefer Duce because
our families have been friends
Canadian,
for many years,
Italian
and
origins,
and I think you have a vision for Cornell and Deal that is in line with ours.
Now you're probably wondering why the Faulkner Circus.
Cornell and Deal to be able to continue, but without
I really
Greg,
thought about it, and then I had a eureka moment. And why not?
In 2012,
so what am I planning on doing with this channel? Well, I'm planning on scouting the interweb.
In 2013, talks began
with
in earnest,
all the news, meaning people who put up blogs or vlogs, and they talk about, I don't know, a certain review of a certain tobacco. Well, I'm going to look it out, put it up on this channel, and tell you that, hey, Bradley from Stuff and
that's where all my money goes.
is doing this week.
Before getting
and on
the Law DC.
Smoking Pipes. So they're discussing this. So you know what? This is your
one big family.
Your one-stop
also
shopping center
Law
for
DC distribution group,
checking out
which
pipe
has
news,
sole
man,
distribution rights in
or
the
tobacco
US
news,
for
or
7
anything
pipes,
news that
tickles
my fancy, and maybe tickles your fancy. Well, nothing tickles my fancy these days. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. And you're gonna notice also that. I'm
Briarworks,
yes,
tobaccos.
I have a superpower, and it's
a number
called
of other things.
ADD.
And then
it serves me well.
Peterson Pipe Factory in
when the time comes.
So I guess why everybody's connected. With
but a lot of that time ain't coming, and it ain't coming fast. Anyway, so look,
to distribute and stuff. Like
I hope you enjoy this
That's
channel.
So it started out.
You're gonna get to know me.
Just being basically smoking pipes.
I'm a funny guy. You know what I'm saying?
We
come from a long line of jesters, believe it or not. My dad is from Tuscany.
Was just smoking pipes,
and we go way back, and we were jesters. So
our brick and mortar.
I figured I'd carry on tradition.
Okay.
And usually I don't stutter, but
they started adding to the corporation.
This is your news. I'm going to have some special features sometimes. I want to interview people. Right now, I just put my feelers out, and I've put my feelers out to Sabina Santos.
What nationality is Law DC? Like
amazing artistic.
It's Italian. The word is Italian. It's a name.
Seriously,
it is
and
a name.
Also,
it is the name of a
Eldritch
character
Pipe.
in a play.
That guy
could tell you the story.
Amazing. So
I cannot remember.
You're probably wondering, this is way crazy fly out pipe stuff. No, not really, man. I'm holding my Peterson right now. See this one right here, and
it's Italian. Eh? No wonder.
I want to smoke some Royal Twist, man.
But hey, I never said anything. You know what I'm saying?
The thing is that
I'm Italian myself, so I can joke around. And actually, I'm from.
I could smoke in a garage, but it's minus 25 here. That's Canadian.
So it's like minus 20 here. Like
that's like minus 1,000 American.
Like when you walk out and you take your first breath,
and it's the opposite of
all the
currency
mucus in your nose.
You know what I'm saying?
Crinkles up.
We win on this one, or actually,
and you're from?
Yeah, we win on this one.
Originally from New Mexico.
Okay.
But I have lived in Denver.
So I built myself a little shed
Chicago. I've
inside
lived in Portland, Oregon.
The garage.
I've lived in New York, Pennsylvania.
Because my garage is.
I've lived in Cleveland, Tennessee. So I've been around, and most of those places.
I got a little heater in there, but because I built it
cold.
Okay, so
as we say in Quebecois, because I do live in Quebec.
South Carolina doesn't. Like now, it's
half-assed. That is
in the
a lot of air comes in, and I freeze.
Oh, that's nice and cool, man.
So
yeah, it's cool.
You got to know me a little bit.
But it's not, it's not like the kind of weather.
Give me your comments
below, and it's not even that bad. Believe
Please
it or not,
keep it
but anyways,
nice.
Oh yeah, -20 is.
Let's go on with the show.
Pretty severe for like -20. People's minds would be exploding here.
Absolutely. I remember once there was, I think, a snowfall, and I think it was in North Carolina, and like 30 people died.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a wispy snowfall, and I just thought, man, what do you mean 30 people died? This is like we go swimming when it's like this. But it's because you guys, or when I say you guys, the North Carolinians are not used to driving on that slippery
road,
it man.
That's right. It depends on where in the state you are a little bit. Like, the more mountainous regions of South Carolina and North Carolina can expect snow and ice and kind of have some infrastructure. But we're located basically right on the beach.
So there's no happening there, man.
Exactly. No, the expectation for snow here is maybe once every 3 to 5 years. And actually we're due for a freezing rain tomorrow.
Really?
Which is going to be really great because, it's supposed to rain for the first half of the day and then freeze and then start snowing on top of it. So
now in South Carolina, they do grow tobacco. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what happens now? It's going to freeze over, man. It's going to ruin the crops.
Well, no, there's no tobacco in the fields now.
Okay.
Yeah, the tobacco gets planted usually in April or May.
Okay.
And is typically harvested by the middle to end of August or into September a little bit.
Okay, so it's not an on-year going thing. Once you cut it down, you replant and let's go.
No. So you've got different fields all around that are owned by farmers, and typically they're planting tobacco one year, and then after tobacco they'll plant cotton or they'll plant peanuts or and then they'll plant potatoes or something like that in that area. And so they've got fields that they're basically moving their tobacco crop around.
Right.
They're rotating in.
Yeah, you got to do that as a farmer. Yeah.
That's right.
Now, do they plant corn? And there's a reason why I'm asking this.
Yes, there's definitely corn grown.
Okay. Am I wrong, Jeremy, to say that sometimes in the blends, depending where I'm smoking in the bowl, and I'll breathe through my nose, and I'll get that little corn smell, that little sweet corn smell. Could it be, man, that it has an effect because of the soil?
I doubt it. I think that when you're smoking a blend of tobacco, you're burning so many different kinds of compounds and things that are contributing to what you experience as aroma and flavor.
Right.
And those things are similar kinds of compounds that you find in lots of different vegetables and plants.
Right.
So I think that's why, when we're smoking, we pick up on characteristic tastes that are like, oh, that's kind of like molasses, or this is kind of like roasted corn, or this is kind of like I sometimes taste like roasted peanut shells, particularly in a stoved red Virginia. But rather than peanut crops having flavored the soil somehow,
you don't think so?
Or corn crops having flavored the soil somehow, those plants are pulling things out of the soil much more so than contributing something to the soil.
Okay, right.
Now, maybe if you had tobacco that was being grown right up on a corn crop, maybe that could be a possible effect, but I'm skeptical.
But they don't use the corn cuttings once they've taken out all the corn. Don't they remulch it in the ground?
I don't know how corn harvesting works.
Okay.
But suppose it's possible.
Yeah.
I still I would be interested to read if somebody has done any sort of study about residual corn in the soil flavoring tobacco.
Because man, it all starts in the soil.
Completely. Oh yeah, that's absolutely
100%.
Right. That's absolutely right. Yeah, all of your flavor and all of your nutrients for your plant is certainly coming through the soil, carried by the water sources.
And now your connections in getting different tobaccos. Do you source these out? Or do they come to you?
So I definitely don't have somebody being like, here, take this tobacco. But we do have relationships with tobacco dealers in a few different places in the world that are our resources for particular types of tobacco from those regions and areas. And so my relationships with those sources, they kind of know the sorts of things that we look for, the sorts of tobaccos that we want to buy. And they also kind of have an idea of our usage and how long a particular lot of tobacco might last us. And so I work with them to get samples of leaf as it comes available. And as we begin to prepare for, okay, this is going to be running out, this particular crop that we're using from is going to be running out in the next 1.5 to 2 years.
Okay.
I want to start trying to find something to begin to start introducing to replace it so that replacement happens seamlessly.
And it's funny that you say that you're running out, you're going to have to replace, you're going to have to replant. Now, we all know that when you're replanting something, it's never going to be exactly the same as the tobacco you have there. So why do people always want to look for that unicorn tobacco? It was better when I was in my 30s, this and that. It's not the same now. Look, man, I used to smoke McClellan, okay? Just by chance, I found McClellan at my tobacconist, and I never saw any C&D, by the way. But anyways, this was many years ago. And so McClellan was out. Okay. I stopped smoking. I came back and I got into C&D and other GLPs and all of this. And these are fantastic tobaccos. What are people bitching about? Like, I guess, I got better tobaccos now than I've ever had ever.
Oh, thank you.
No, but I mean, no, I'm not trying to throw flowers at you, but I mean,
I understand, but that's great to hear. That's really cool to hear you say.
What's the search for the unicorn and paying $500 for a Penzance?
Right. I don't know. I think that rarity breeds popularity.
It's okay. Yeah, it's a hype thing, man.
Yeah. But I also think that people grow accustomed to, like, when I started smoking a pipe, it was no big deal to be able to get Penzance. I wasn't, I didn't have to struggle for it. I didn't have to hunt all over for it. It was regularly available and it was easily affordable and it was good. And as it has become more and more rare, it has also become more and more popular and more elevated and praised. And so you had once a very good tobacco that was easy to get and nobody really seemed
thought about it being
it's like, oh, this is really good, and I've got a couple of 8-ounce packages and I've got a couple of 10s, and then production issues prevented them from being able to make the kinds of quantities that they wanted to. And demand started going up because the supply actually was dialing back. So I think this is just human nature. Like there's
like wine, man, just like wine.
Like think about gold. Why do we value it? Because it's certainly not actually valuable.
Yeah, I know. It's because we put a value on it because we're human beings and we're perfect. If you know what I'm being sarcastic.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's rare and it's super shiny.
Yeah, 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 and I can't afford it. But anyways,
right.
Now, all this. Oh, another thing. Sorry, aging tobaccos.
Okay.
Now, when you started smoking, was there such a thing as aging your tobacco?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there was. So I started smoking a pipe in like 2003, 2004, somewhere in that area.
Okay.
Definitely by that point, there had been some folks. I mean, I don't think that the majority of pipe smokers are intentionally cellaring and aging their tobaccos. I think that there are more people doing that now than there were in 2003. I think there were more people doing it in 2003 than there were in, say, 1995. But I don't think that it's ever been like everyone understands and does this, that you buy types of tobaccos that have natural sugar content to them, high natural sugar, and you store them in a cool, dry place for a decade or more, and you are doing this intentionally because of the aging effects that will take place. I think that there are more people now who know about aging and who practice it than there used to be, but I don't think it's ever been a super predominant practice.
Okay, I mean, I do it out of influence because I see other people do it, and I just started buying some tobacco and cellaring it like 2 years ago, but that's not even worth opening it once if you're cellaring it 2 years after. Because
all right, so I'm gonna add something to that thought.
Okay.
It just like, well, scratch that. Not just like anything. Just you have a fair amount of change that is going to take place with a particular blend,
right,
in just 1 year in the 10.
So you're talking Virginias?
Yes. So if you've got a couple of years of age on a product, that might actually be a good time, particularly if you've got more than 110 from that age range. It might actually be a good time for you to open and see what's going on, to have a sense of what the overall journey actually is.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I mean, it'd be really great to have a bunch of tobacco that's like, say, 15 or 25 years old, but you're not really going to be able to appreciate what's happened in those 10, 15, 20, 25 years if you don't have a sense of what it tasted like at the beginning.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right.
And so I think it's actually cooler to like buy 2 10s when you buy something for the first time. Buy 2 10s, have one to squirrel away and one to smoke now. And then the next time, if you like the way that it tastes now, the next time that you go to buy 3 or 4 more and lay those down, and then come back to the one that you originally laid down from the first purchase and try it while these others continue to age. And you can kind of like build a cellar that way and interact with the overall process that cellaring allows to happen. So you can actually see like, oh, wow, I really like it at 10 to 15 years better than I do at 5 years. Or I actually prefer this blend, aged a little less.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Do you, obviously you must cellar yourself, right?
Oh, yes.
Now, are you at the point of, you just said you tried at different times of your life, of the life of the tobacco, because I know a lot of your blends, a lot of your more Virginia-based blends, you say 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, that tends to be I think kind of a peak range for a lot of Virginias.
So does it go down after 15?
No, but I think that it is I think that past a certain point you may not really be getting a whole lot of additional change.
Okay.
I think that microbial activity slows down as the oxygen in the tin gets consumed. And so past a certain point, you're really like, comparing Granny Smith apples to slightly unripe Red Delicious apple.
Okay.
It might still be a little green. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, let's say you don't have it in the tin, man. Let's say you have it in a jar like this.
Sure.
Like you can open it and let more air in. Will that give you more time with the tobacco? More maturation?
Well, it's actually better for fermentation. It is better for it to remain airtight.
Okay.
I'm just saying that as what little bit of oxygen is still there in the environment is consumed, the process gets slower and slower and slower as it goes on.
Okay.
So you're getting more and more incremental changes and less big transformative changes.
Okay.
So I think 10 to 15 years is a really great spot for a lot of Virginia blends for that reason.
Man, it's too bad because I don't think I'm going to live 15 years, Jeremy. So when you say that, it's like, oh, man, I got to smoke this now type thing. Anyways.
You seem to be in good health to me.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, your nose, your palate, your whole sinus cavity. I'm going to ask you a really ridiculous question, but it's not that ridiculous.
Okay.
Are you insured for that?
No, I'm not. I have life insurance, but no, that's an interesting thought.
I know it is because that's your livelihood, man. You've grown to experience all these flavors, just like a sommelier, just like a chef, man. You've got the same, for lack of a better word, things going to find those flavors, man.
Mm.
So, what happens if you have a cold?
If I have a cold, I stay home, and I will wait until I'm over the cold. I've been very, very, very cautious with regards to COVID.
Yeah, man.
Because not only do I just not really want to get sick, I think that's most people, and I don't want to contribute to spreading it around to others, but I'm quite scared of the possible effect on my sense of smell and taste.
Yeah, of course, man. I'm sorry. I don't mean to scare, put the fear of COVID.
Oh, no. I don't mean you're scaring me. I mean the idea that that an infection could knock those things out.
Yeah, they say that COVID will knock your sense of smell out to some people,
yes.
Man.
Yep.
And so what happens? What happens with the alchemist Jeremy Reeves? What happens?
You know anybody who needs a good dishwasher?
Wow. How long you've been educating yourself in tobacco in terms of being a chef, being a blender, if you can say. I find blender a little bit not good. More of an alchemist, a chef.
That's nice of you.
Just blending, you know what I mean? But anyways, how long you've been educating yourself? Is it a long process?
Yeah, and it was pretty much one done at my own expense and done out of my own personal enjoyment. There's not really a school for this exactly, but I really enjoyed cigars, and I thought it'd be cool to work in a cigar store, and so I got a job at a cigar store, and really just kind of dove in with both feet into everything that I could learn about tobacco, about cigars specifically, and from there, a friend of mine gave me my first pipe and introduced me to pipe tobacco, and so I started smoking pipe as well as cigars, and yeah, I just saw a blend I'd never had before and would buy a couple of tins, and got to try all sorts of things and got to meet all sorts of different kinds of people and learn a little bit about what they enjoyed and what they knew along the way. But yeah, all of this was basically just done out of being
pleasure,
an overzealous hobbyist.
And have you ever seen that show on Netflix? I think it was a few years back. It's a French show. It's called Somme. It's about the road of a sommelier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it takes 4 years. Every test is 4 years distanced apart, right? So you got to learn whatever. So Jeremy, these guys were able to tell, obviously, what grape it was. That was like a no-brainer. That's like telling the difference between a Latakia done tobacco and a Virginian. It's that easy for them. But then they would be able to tell you which country it's from, which, okay, not so bad. What region of the country it's from, what mountain it's from, and who the bloody vineyard guy is from. And I was like, what the hell? Like, can you do that?
No, but grapes and wine are a really, really different crop than tobacco. With a winery, they are growing specific kinds of grapes for their specific product,
right?
Or they are growing specific kinds of grapes, and somebody else is growing in another place on their behalf another specific kind of grape to be mixed together or whatever.
Right.
But tobacco is a more blended product.
Right.
So typically grades of leaf are different
on the plant,
positions on the plant,
right,
in different color variations. So one farmer may not have very much of a high color and high priming leaf.
Okay.
You need several farmers producing a full crop,
right,
to get enough of that high color, high priming leaf
to create a blend.
Yeah. So when I'm purchasing Old Belt deep red Virginias,
right,
there are many farmers that have produced the product that those leaves have all been color sorted and priming sorted to end up in the same lot or grade.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
I don't have the opportunity to be like, oh, well, that's Bob Smith. That's definitely his tobacco.
I got you.
Versus this is, Jim, whoever Jim is.
Right. I get you. So basically, you're saying being a wine sommelier is that easy compared to I'm joking.
No. I mean, I am definitely saying that, like, I cannot lay claim to any sort of sommelier training.
Yeah.
I am not that level of taster. I am not that level of person.
Well, I mean, you are the head blender, and your blends are fantastic. I love your blends, Jeremy. Seriously, I'm gushing here, but anyways, so. And I'm hyperactive, as you can see. So I jump from like the squirrel there. You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
I didn't want to mention the squirrel.
That's okay, man. It's okay. I've seen it about a few times. Anyways, so is there a place where you blenders get together, especially the Cornell and Deal, where you have Briarworks, you have GLPs, and I forget others. Mm-hmm. You guys ever get together and sit down, smoke a pipe, and talk shop?
Well, so the Briarworks and Warped and Two Friends and Captain Earl's, those are all brands that Cornell and Deal manufacture.
Right.
But so like in the case of Briarworks, I developed all those recipes. There is not a Briarworks blender.
Oh, I see. Okay, so Briarworks hires you and says, please give me 5 different whatever categories of tin, and go for it.
They came to us with some ideas of styles of blends that they were interested in, and then I produced samples and sent back to them. What do you think of this? And basically that was the way that those blends were developed. And so there is no blender from Briarworks.
Okay, so how long does that take before the Briarworks proprietor says, yeah, we nailed it for this blend?
It was so let's see, there's 6 of those blends,
I think so.
And we did the first 4 in say 3 or 4 months of getting together, talking about what the concepts were, and then I went away and started kind of experimenting and putting stuff together and working on getting things together that I liked, and then sent those to them. And yeah, the whole process for the first 4 took about 3 or 4 months.
And when it comes to, because you blend also for GLPs, and he is a blender like you.
He is a blender. So we keep Greg stocked with tobaccos that, like the tobaccos that we're using to make everything.
Right.
So that he knows the materials that he's got to work with.
Right.
And then his blend development is done using our materials.
Now on his line, GL. Oh no, it's true. You're the blender. I was going to say on his line, whatever. Scratch that. And what about does any blender or any manufacturer? When I'm going to say manufacturer, does any designer? There's a good word. Designer ever come to you with their own material and say, please use this?
No. That has never happened.
Is that because why? It's not part of the deal, or it's just never happened?
So if Greg, as an example,
right,
had his own ability to store and process leaf, he would not need Cornell and Deal.
Well, it depends. Maybe he doesn't have the foundation, the equipment.
Right. I suppose that's true.
Yeah.
But even still, buying leaf and having any sort of real supply of it, you're going to need storage space, and you're going to to justify the quantity of leaf that you really need to be able to
really,
you need space, you need storage. Like 1 box of tobacco is 440 pounds. And you're going to need thousands of pounds to be able to use over the course of years while you are transitioning from one crop or grade into the next crop or grade. And as your usage of one tapers up, the usage of the one previous is tapering down, so that you've got consistency year on year.
So how do you do that? How do you keep it consistent where you have a 400-pound bale of tobacco and it's actually fermenting as time is going on? and you're using this, the flavors are changing, man.
That's true. That's true. The flavors do change to a degree, but mostly with aerobic aging, like what is happening in a case or a box or a bale. Really, what the main thing that's happening is that you've got mellowing of the flavor, but you don't have fermentation taking place until there is moisture and until you've got it in an airtight environment.
Okay, so it's a controlled environment, so that stuff doesn't happen, right?
Right.
And I mean, you got 220. Is it 220 Cornell and Deal blends? Forgetting GLPs, forgetting Briarworks.
Right. That's right.
So, like, what does your storage space look like? Like a Walmart? For God's sake, man, that's a huge amount of stuff you got to do, man.
Right. So we have a decent leaf storage area here on site, and then we have storage facilities that we rent from dealers, tobacco dealers,
right,
in a couple of different states.
Really, eh?
Yeah, so I mean, because we just simply don't have the room or the space for all of the tobacco.
Right. I've seen your videos of your place, and I was wondering, like, how does he do it, man?
Yeah.
And another question concerning that: how do you keep up with 220 plus other companies that you got? How do you keep up an inventory for me to go to whatever tobacconist and always have my canal boat? Let's say. How do you do that? Like,
so we don't do our own distribution. I mentioned before the
L'Odyssey.
L'Odyssey distribution group.
Yeah.
So we basically have a live, ever updating purchase order from L'Odyssey distribution group.
Okay.
That shows us what they need restocks on and what stock levels those restock needs are currently at.
So, okay. So that's a typical day at Cornell and Deal. Is that right? At your place, right? L'Odyssey, I guess, is the first place you hit. In the morning, you wake up and it's email L'Odyssey.
In the morning, production team is looking at what has popped up on the purchase order.
Right.
What sold yesterday down
like,
to a stock
level. Can you give
level.
me an example, Jeremy? Can you give me an example of like what sold and what's coming in?
Sure. So the purchase order, may say like, oh yeah, you have dropped lower than necessary on autumn evening 2-ounce 10.
Right.
So we need to replenish stock on autumn evening 2-ounce 10s. Here's what we want. Here's the number of 2-ounce 10s that we want. And so, we're going to look and see, well, do we also need to make autumn evening 8-ounce? Do we also need to make autumn evening 16-ounce 10? Do we also need to make autumn evening bulk? We get together an idea of how much autumn evening we need to make. And then we overshoot that so that as those numbers may continue to dwindle on the shelf, we're making enough autumn evening to restock plus.
I got you. Now, you're doing autumn evening, but your press, let's say your autumn evening needs to be pressed, but your press is already occupied by some other tobacco you're going to do.
Sure.
What happens?
Well, we have lots of different presses, and those presses can hold, I don't know that we've ever quantified it, but probably in the neighborhood of 25 8-pound blocks of tobacco each. And those don't all have to be 8-pound blocks of one particular blend.
So correct me. So once you have your pressed tobacco in there, you get another order that needs tobacco to be pressed. It's okay to unwind that, put your other tobacco and press it again?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
We put steel, each blend that we make, we're going to weigh out roughly 8-pound portions, wrap it in paper and label it with the in date and the out date.
I got you. Okay.
And then we'll stack all of those of that particular blend. Let's say it's opening night.
Right.
Opening night will all be stacked together. Then we get, the next thing that we're making, maybe Sunset Harbor Flake.
Right.
So Sunset Harbor Flake can go into the same holding press.
Not at the same time. You can do it at a different time, right?
No, we can do it at the same time.
But that's what I was asking. What happens when that's pressed and your Law DC order comes in and you got to make canal boat?
Right. So canal boat doesn't need to be pressed.
Well, it's a crumble cake, right?
No, canal boat is a cube cut blend.
Oh man, okay, because I must have pressed it myself. Sorry.
Sorry, am I wrong?
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to open up a new tin right now. I must, because I press my own tobacco, and that's something else I wanted to ask you. So it must have been in my jar pressed, and I thought it came as a crumble cake itself.
I see.
I might be wrong completely.
Yeah, no, Canal Boat is a cube cut burley blend with some Latakia and some sweetened black Cavendish.
I love it. So yeah, going back to the pressings, you can.
Yeah, so let's say we've got some opening night in our holding press.
Yeah.
And then we need to put in some Sunset Harbor Flake.
Right.
So we raise the press.
I gotcha.
Put a steel plate on top of the opening night and
press it again.
The Sunset Harbor Flake on top and re-hit the press.
Okay.
In our press system, we just recently got this really, really cool update that one of the guys that works in production and manufacturing built for us. It's a pretty impressive setup that basically it's on all of the presses are connected on a loop, and it goes through a 30-minute cycle where every 30 minutes the press will readjust and repress all the way down the line so that we don't physically have to do that.
Yeah, I get you.
Because for us, it's like every morning, you come in and you crank down all the presses and try and get any slack, kind of short up, and then try and remember that, maybe another couple of times during the day. But this does it every 30 minutes automatically, and nobody has to do that anymore.
That's a huge investment for C&D.
Yeah. But it's a huge time saver for us. And those kinds of little things were like just tightening 20 presses. That's 30 minutes.
Oh man, you got that many presses.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Okay. Because when I saw on your video, I just saw 2 presses, really old presses, man.
Mm-hmm.
These are all new presses you got, or is the system connected to these old presses?
The system is connected to these
old presses. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Now, Jeremy, talking about pressing tobacco,
mm-hmm.
I got a blend. I forget what it was, and there was some black Cavendish in this blend. Okay, and it looked like a certain color, obviously, because it was like a ribbon cut. Then I put it into a 6-ton press that I have, just a little teensy-weensy press. When I took out the tobacco, it was black. Okay, probably because of the Cavendish, whatever. And they say that if you press a tobacco, it's supposed to marry better. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
Yeah, basically. So you've got this leaf that has cells that have oil and moisture in them. And you've got this leaf over here that have cells that have different kinds of oils and compounds and things in them. And when you compress them together, you're basically popping these things.
Right. So all the juices are mixing together.
Exactly.
But now the thing is that I smoked that blend, and all I tasted was Cavendish now. And before, it being a ribbon cut, it was just like the Cavendish was. It was there. For sure, predominantly there, But now it's like, holy cow, all I'm smoking is Cavendish. I don't taste the other blends, man.
What other tobaccos were in the blend?
There was Virginias, there was Red Virginias, and there was Burleys.
Okay. Do you think that the majority of what blend was it?
You know what? I forgot, man. But it was, I don't know, it was a Lane tobacco. I forgot, Jeremy. Sorry.
But it's all right. I'm just trying to think of like what. Typically, Black Cavendish is a pretty nondescript flavor unless it has a flavor added to it.
It must have been that. And
but if it's a vanilla flavored Cavendish or something, and then you press that, it doesn't surprise me that flavor is going to kind of cut. Especially Virginias and Burleys are both on their own pretty subtle sort of taste.
So they're going to suck up all that juice.
Yep.
So is there a certain type of tobacco should I press my own tobacco? Should I not press tobacco?
I think that experimentation is one of the primary reasons that pipe smoking is so much fun. I think that if you are interested in pressing and seeing what pressing can do to a blend, that the best way for you to be able to do that is to do it as a home experiment, because most people don't ever have the opportunity to work for a pipe tobacco manufacturer.
Obviously. And what about for cellaring? Is pressing a tobacco before cellaring, you press it? Is there more of other than the Black Cavendish with all that goo in it? Is that a way to preserve it?
Originally, that is kind of where the idea of pressing came from. Is sailors going on long ship voyages, and if your tobacco was just a loose ribbon mixture and you've got no way to store it in an airtight compartment or something, it's just going to dry out. But if you press it into a dense brick like a plug, then you can just slice off what you need, and you can slice it really thin if you're smoking cigarettes, or if you prefer a shag cut in your pipe, you can slice it a little thicker and smoke it in your pipe as a flake. You could cut off a chunk of it and just chew it, but the compression was really done more to preserve moisture and flavor of the tobacco than anything else.
But
as we talked before about anaerobic fermentation, think about the environment inside that plug.
Hey,
most of the air has been removed by pressing.
That's right.
And so
I'll show you the stash
you've
I just
got.
All right.
Starting in the middle of this chunk of tobacco.
Unbelievable.
This fermentation that starts in the middle and works its way towards
is the Wessex
the outside.
Curry block. Right.
So that is going to be a very, very long, slow
taking that out of the bag.
And if you took the exact same tobaccos,
let's see what it smells like.
Made a blend of the exact same proportions, ribbon cut.
So
you've got your plug version, you've got your ribbon cut version. Age those both for 5 years, and
that's
you're going
to have
two totally different things.
I'm telling you.
Is there value in pressing your tobacco before you age it? Absolutely. Is there value in not doing so before you age it?
Absolutely.
I got you. I got you.
Like a big cigar, eh?
Yeah, that's good.
So this was about $100.
Let me bust your chops with one last question, because I know you're a busy guy.
Know what? Yeah, $100 a lot of cash.
You don't just smoke C&D stuff. You don't just smoke what's around you, or do you smoke what's around you out of convenience, or do you go and seek out a certain tobacco that you like?
I'm gonna have to try a bowl of it. But I just poured myself a bowl of
all of the above.
McBaron.
So I do
Royal
smoke.
Twist.
I do smoke other tobaccos that are not produced by C&D.
I got some C&D.
The vast majority of my smoking is work related these days. And is C&D tobacco. I have to smoke what I'm blending with. I have to smoke the blend that I'm in development on. I have to revisit different stages of the blend and different versions of the blend several times.
As they say here, the piquant, which means...
And so I don't end up smoking at home on the weekends very often.
Really? So how much do you smoke, Jeremy, in terms of bowls? Per day. Per day.
Per day? I limit myself to 2 pipes or 2 cigars a day.
Boat. I really like this.
I do not mix
when I just want to have a
cigar
chill,
and pipe
burly smoke. But
really,
burly with.
I think I smoke too much.
Jeremy Reeves really did a nice job.
Everybody to their own. And, but I began finding
smoky,
that
but it's nutty, full and rich.
I couldn't trust my palate by the end of the day.
It would numb out. It would numb out your tongue, your taste buds, and stuff like that, huh?
Yep.
With a light.
And so I feel.
Also, I got 2 tins of
more assured that what I am experiencing is accurate.
By Davidoff.
When when I smoke in moderation and when I'm intentional about the time of day that I do it, and when I'm intentional about what I have. What I have done
flavor to it, or is
taste wise beforehand.
Oh no, it's the Savinelli. The Savinelli.
So every morning I will smoke. Like if I'm in blend development, every morning I will smoke a bowl.
And also, I'm a Wessex
something
fan.
that I'm trying.
I just
and then
like
after
stuff,
lunch,
right?
And
I got some golden slice.
Kind of hydrating again.
Never tried it.
Then I'll smoke.
This is
again.
I'm assuming
okay.
It's,
you just said hydrated,
Virginia.
So and drinking a lot of water is a necessary thing in your craft.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I also use club soda if I need like a palate cleanser, because you remember the old bathroom cleaner commercial, scrubbing bubbles.
Yeah.
Club soda does that to the oils and build up on your palate. It basically breaks that stuff up.
And when you say you smoke a bowl, are you smoking like a clay pipe, small bowl, or are you smoking a bowl, a regular pipe, briar?
Right. I use clay pipes, I use briar pipes, and I use corncob pipes when I'm doing certain kinds of tasting. I use clay pipes when I am comparing components.
Gotcha, yeah.
But I use primarily briar and corncob when I'm developing blends. The reason being
the same blend, you would use a briar, you would use a corncob to see the difference.
Right. Basically, I want to experience what the customer is going to experience, and most customers are going to be smoking in either briar or in corncob.
Right. Well, Jeremy, I got like a billion more questions. I hope we can do this again. Man, if I was there, I'd give you a big kiss, because that's what Italians do. And I really appreciate your time. I know how much work you got to do, man. And, thank you very much, man. Thanks for everything, Jeremy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This has been a blast.
That's it.
Cool.
Oh, man, I got so many questions. But anyways, okay. Jeremy, thank you very much. I'm going to put this together. As I said, I'm starting up this pipe channel. I'm very confident in doing the channel, whether I'm going to have a lot of subscribers or not. But it seems that a guy like Bradley, he's got like 40,000 subscribers. Who gives a shit about pipe that much? 40,000, and Mutton Chops got 68,000. He not the. Anyways, I'm blown away. So I should be getting a fair amount of traffic, man.
Very good.
Yeah. And with that said, there was a segue to that. Jeremy, who do I speak to about sponsorship or ads in Cornell and Deal? Because I know now you got Law DC, but Law DC, they're the mobsters. They don't want to have nothing to do with us, with me. But Smoking Pipes is interconnected with Cornell and Deal. Is there an interest in something like that, Jeremy, in all honesty?
Well, I'm not sure. I'll do some asking around and see if we would be willing to do some sort of sponsorship. But
instead of sponsorship, what about ads? So you're not sponsoring a channel. You're just using your ad when your ad is there.
Sure. Would we need to... Now, are you trying to monetize this?
No. What I do on my other channel is I create the ads for, let's say, C&D, like the ad I just created for you, and say, hey, look, I put in the time to do this ad. You don't even have to do the ad, that depending if you like the ad.
Right.
And do you want to put it on this show for, because I think I'm going to do this show right now once a month, and I'm going to have an interview, and I'm going to have pipe showcasing and all that, fun. And I would say, like, I don't know, man, you guys want to do this at $200 or something.
Okay. Let me talk to our marketing team and see what they think, see if they want to make ads for this or what.
Yeah, because if it's a sponsor thing, then how am I going to talk about McBaron?
Right. No, I understand.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm shooting myself in the head. So yeah, if you guys give me $1 million a month, yeah, no problem. Smoking Pipes, Cornell and deal, let's go.
Well, I don't think we're in a position to do that.
I'm just saying.
So, all right, yeah, let me do some asking around, and I'll keep you in the loop, Dan.
Hey, thank you very much. You're a sweetheart of a guy, man. I thought you were a hell of a biker, but
no, I drive a Nissan Sentra.
Holy, you just broke my iconic. Anyways, Jeremy, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Well, here's my first impression of the Wessex Curly Block. For 9 ounces, it was approximately $90, $10 an ounce, and some stores sold it for $100, but whatever. And I think I was wrong in a previous segment. I said it's sold out. It's not sold out. You can still get it. So I'm gonna say, is it worth $90? Because that's double the price of what you could get. Well, you're not gonna get the Wessex Curly Block, right? So it's a novelty in itself, but it's double the price of most tobaccos. Is it worth it? Look, in my opinion, first impression, if you got the money, sure, go for it. If you don't have the money, don't worry about it. But it's still a great tobacco. Man, you get that bready, nutty smell, you know. I cut it in a couple of pieces like this. I mean, this is pretty huge. I'm going to age the other 2 pieces. I cut it in 3 pieces. I'm going to age the other 2 pieces, and we're going to come back to it in a couple of years, you know. But the Perique, the Acadian Perique, it's very nice. Subtle, but very nice. Burley is very nice, very smooth. And you get some nice citrusy shots from the Virginias that are in here. If I'm not mistaken, there's some Kentucky in here. But it's a very nice tobacco. I like Wessex very much. Great company. I enjoy their campaign. It's a Brigadier series, the Wessex. Anyways, it's a soldier type things, and I like the campaign one. Really, really nice. So, that's my first impression. I did smoke it yesterday. Very smooth. Near mid-bowl, I tried to see if I can get more flavors from it. It stayed pretty, I'm not going to say one-dimensional because there are different flavors, but it didn't change much. It actually, I kind of lost some flavors mid-bowl to the end of the bowl. But as I said, my opinion, first impression, you might love it. And that's it. And I put it in a little mason jar like this with, you know, nice, fun, cute label. And right now, I'm off to smoke a GLP's triple play with it just smells incredibly yummy. Very fermented wine-ish flavor I had. Why do I know that? Because I'm Italian, I make wine, right? So when it ferments, the whole bloody house smells like a big a winery. But anyways, I'm going to stop whining. It's very nice though, this Wessex. Very nice. Have a good one. Till next time.